Your $5,000 payment just vanished into thin air. And the criminals who stole it are using your name to do it again right now. That international payment you sent last week, it might be funding something you'd never support. Or worse, it might never arrive, and your account could be flagged as suspicious. The money remittance you trusted never reached its destination. A payment to your service provider is stuck in limbo because of paperwork issues. Sound familiar? Here's a disturbing truth. Right now, at this very moment, criminal networks are exploiting the same payment platforms regular people and businesses use every day. And most victims have no idea they're caught in the crossfire until it's too late. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot the difference between platforms that guard your money like a fortress and those that leave the vault door wide open for criminals. Cross-border payments have never been more critical or more dangerous. We're talking about billions of dollars moving across the Americas, Europe, and Asia every single day. Businesses, banks, fintechs, and regular consumers all rely on these networks to move money quickly and reliably. But here's the terrifying part. The faster and easier a payment platform makes it to send money, the more attractive it becomes to criminals. It's a perfect double-edged sword. That same network that lets you send money across borders in seconds, well, it also has to do to fight off billion-dollar criminal operations every single day. Operations designed to exploit any weakness in the system. Imagine a system so powerful and fast that it can move your payment instantly. But if it's not guarded properly, it becomes a highway for money laundering, fraud, and even terrorist financing. The question is, which type are you using? Let me explain what we're really dealing with here. Modern payment platforms are cloud-based international networks that connect banks, money transfer operators, and fintechs through powerful multi-country systems. They use a single API that lets partners operate smoothly across borders, supporting payments directly to bank accounts, mobile wallets, and even cash payouts across multiple continents. It sounds convenient, right? It is. That's exactly what criminals want in. Behind every instant transfer, there's either sophisticated technology actively scanning for threats, or there's nothing. Just a blind system moving money without asking questions. The legitimate platforms, well, they're running real-time AI monitoring, scanning millions of transactions simultaneously, multi-layered identity verification processes, 24/7 fraud detection across multiple countries and currencies, deep integration with reputable banks, sharing threat intelligence. These systems continuously analyze payment patterns for suspicious behavior, stopping fraudulent transactions before they can do damage. But the dangerous platforms, well, they're basically automated money-moving machines with no guardian watching the door. So why should you care? Because if you're using or partnering with a non-compliant platform, here's what can happen to you. First, the identity problem. Non-compliant platforms often fail to properly verify the merchants they serve. No solid know your customer processes means criminals can easily funnel illicit funds through fake companies or shell corporations. Your payment could be flowing through a business that exists only on paper, designed specifically for money laundering. Second, the monitoring gap. Without real-time transaction monitoring and risk analysis, suspicious transactions go completely unnoticed and unreported. Criminals use techniques called layering and structuring, breaking up large amounts into smaller transactions to hide illegal activity. And these platforms just let it happen. Third, the bank hopping warning sign. Some platforms repeatedly switch banking partners to evade scrutiny or hide compliance problems. If you see a payment platform changing banks frequently, that's a massive red flag. Banks don't drop clients for no reason. Now here's where it gets personal for you. If you're connected to one of those platforms, you risk unintended association with illegal transactions, potentially damaging your reputation or triggering investigations into your accounts. Your funds can be frozen, delayed, or returned unexpectedly when authorities finally catch suspicious activity flowing through the system. You become a prime target for fraud, identity theft, and scams that thrive specifically on weak or non-existent safeguards. And here's the nightmare scenario. Regulatory scrutiny in your jurisdiction that could impact your ability to operate internationally. Your business relationships, gone. Your cash flow, interrupted. Your banking relationships, terminated. Some businesses get blacklisted from entire payment networks because they unknowingly partnered with a non-compliant platform. Now, flip the coin. Let's talk about what payment platforms themselves are dealing with, because understanding the risk helps you spot which ones are actually protecting you. Payment platforms serving businesses operate in a high-stakes environment full of invisible threats. Business-to-business transactions are especially dangerous because they involve large sums of money or larger sums of money, complicated corporate structures, multiple intermediaries that obscure who really owns the business, shell companies hiding beneficial owners. This complexity makes it incredibly hard to detect fraudulent or illicit activity. Platforms face constant threats, invoice fraud and phishing attacks, criminals impersonating legitimate businesses to redirect payments, politically exposed persons, or PEPs, referring to high-risk individuals trying to move questionable money through complex corporate structures, high-risk jurisdictions or countries with weak enforcement where money laundering thrives, opaque ownership chains, layer upon layer of corporate structures designed specifically to hide who's really behind the transactions. High chargeback rates. Some industries are magnets for fraud, leading to massive losses. Here's the critical part. If a platform fails to manage these risks, they don't just lose money, they lose their banking relationships entirely. They face regulatory fines in the millions. They get their licenses revoked. In some cases, they face criminal investigations. This is why legitimate platforms invest heavily in comprehensive AML risk assessments based on geography, business type, ownership patterns, and transaction behavior. Machine learning powered monitoring systems flagging anomalous activities in real time. Enhanced due diligence processes for high-risk clients. Continuous relationship management with banking partners. The platforms that skip these safeguards, well, they're either cutting corners to save money or they're already compromised and trying to stay ahead of regulators before they get shut down. So here's what you came for. How do you know which type of platform you're using? These are the red flags that scream, get out now. Number one, vague or completely missing compliance policies. If you can't easily find clear AML documentation on their website, that's not an accident. They either don't have policies or they're hiding weak ones. Run. Number two, No real identity verification. They let anyone sign up with minimal questions and start processing payments immediately. Speed is great, but not when it means zero vetting. Number 3, frequent banking partner changes. Go look at their history. If they're jumping from bank to bank, they're being dropped repeatedly. And banks don't drop clients because they're too successful. Something's definitely wrong. Number 4, delayed payments without clear explanation. Your money gets stuck and their support gives vague answers about processing or verification. That's not normal operational delay. That's a broken or compromised system. Number 5, high complaint rates online. Search their name with words like scam, frozen, or delayed. Other victims are literally trying to warn you through their reviews. Now, here's what safe, compliant platforms look like. Transparent AML and compliance policies, clearly documented, easily accessible, professionally written. Thorough identity verification. Yes, onboarding might take a day or 2 longer, but that's good. It means they're actually checking. Real-time transaction monitoring. They're proactively catching suspicious patterns and communicating with you about potential issues. Long-term banking partnerships. They've maintained relationships with reputable financial institutions for years. Proactive customer support. They address compliance concerns openly and have clear channels for reporting issues. Regular audits and certifications. They can provide proof of their AML certification, third-party audits, and regulatory licenses when asked. Here's the bottom line that nobody talks about. That's too good to be true. Cheap, instant platform might cost you everything when your funds get frozen during an investigation or when you discover your business has been unknowingly processing payments for illegal operations. Compliance isn't bureaucratic red tape. It's the invisible guardian standing between your money and organized crime. The platforms that prioritize security might seem slower or slightly more expensive upfront, but they're building trust, ensuring reliability, and protecting you from catastrophic risk. Speed without security isn't efficiency, it's recklessness. So here's my question for you. Which matters more? Getting your money there 5 minutes faster or knowing it'll actually arrive safely and legally? I hope your boss sees this before choosing your company's next payment platform. I hope your accountant watches this before recommending a cheaper alternative. Drop a comment below. Have you ever had a payment frozen mysteriously? Has a platform switched banks on you without explanation? Has a transaction just disappeared? Your experience could save someone else from the same disaster. And if you're a business owner choosing a payment provider right now, this decision could literally make or break your operation. Choose the fortress, not the open door. Share this with anyone who sends money internationally. Tag your finance team. Send it to that friend who's always looking for the cheapest option without asking why it's so cheap. The risks are completely invisible until suddenly they're not. Thanks for watching and protect your money.